Hey everybody, I am David, and I'm going to be talking about Arrow Season 6, Episode 18, Fundamentals. And wow, this was a really great episode. It starts off with this little situation that's going on in the beginning. At first, we're not quite sure what it is. Is this the present time? Is it a flashback? Is it a dream? I have no idea, because at first I'm thinking, okay, so what's going on? And you see an arrow hit the wall. These police officers are like, what the heck is going on? And at first, my first thought is, okay, someone's trying to frame Oliver. It's one of these storylines again. But no, then we hear Oliver's voice, and we're thinking, oh, okay, so what's going on here, Oliver? You're going insane or something? Which I guess we're kind of right. He was kind of insane. But then we see him in the old Arrow costume, which we're thinking, oh, so this must be a flashback. But then we find out that Diaz is there, because he's looking for Diaz and yelling, where is he? Where is Diaz? And we find out, yeah, Diaz is there, but I'm like, wait a minute, Diaz wasn't, like, around then. Like, he didn't know about Diaz back in the day. So then you're thinking, oh, okay, so this must be a flash forward. And yes, we are right. Right after we see Diaz in this room full of cops getting ready to shoot Oliver in his old costume, we flash back to 10 hours ago. And okay, so we're already off to a great start with a really great, strong opening. And we find out that Oliver is actually dosed, not with a needle or anything. He's like, he shakes hands with somebody, and that guy, I guess, had the vertigo and put it inside Oliver's system somehow by shaking Oliver's hand. Was that guy working for Diaz? I guess. I maybe I missed the detail on that part, but who cares, because this episode was fantastic from beginning to end. There maybe was a little moment of me rolling my eyes. I'll get to that a little bit later. But yes, we see that the vertigo is starting to affect him. And that's just where the episode gets better and better. At first, he like snaps on Felicity and snaps on William, and okay, you know something is wrong with Oliver, and he keeps hearing these sounds once in a while, which is also the clue leading up to it. And one of the best moments of this episode is when he's like looking around where the sound is coming from, and one of the doors in the Arrow cave open, and it turns out to be Prometheus. Adrian Chase is back, but he's not the real Adrian Chase, because the real one died back in the finale of last season. This one is a hallucination inside Oliver's mind, and it was such a joy seeing this actor come back to the role. Even if it was just a hallucination or not, it was so much fun getting him back, because I think he was one of the better villains this show has had, and Diaz looks like he's becoming a villain that matches some of the best, like Deathstroke and Malcolm Merlyn. Malcolm Merlyn season 1, I would say a little bit more. When Malcolm started turning good and flip-flopping and all of that, I think he got a little annoying at times. But season 1 Malcolm was great. And obviously Deathstroke in season 2 was a great villain as well. His redemption was a little bit better than Malcolm Merlyn's. But yeah, Prometheus was a great villain, a great adversary last season, and I think Diaz is shaping up to be there with him. So to have both of these villains, the one from last season, who's very much like Oliver, the darker part of Oliver, and try to show Oliver that there was still darkness inside of him. It was great having him in this episode, because that's kind of what the vertigo was doing to him. It was kind of making him go a little crazy and searching some true feelings, and searching that maybe it is good to go back to basics, and I think that's what a lot of people really want. There was a part of me last week. I think the Twitter account, the official Twitter account for Arrow, was asking, what would you like to see Oliver do? And it gave some options, and one of them was go back to basics. And I was like, that's what I want to see. I would like to see Oliver go back to basics, because I think to this day a lot of people still say season 1 and 2 were the best. I would throw season 5 in there as well. And I think season 6, even though it's not the best, I wouldn't put it above season 1, 2, and 5. I would put it in the 4th position. I still think it's a better season than season 4, definitely. And it's a much better, it's a little bit better than season 3. Season 3 had a really strong start, but it really fell halfway through. I think this season has had an even balance. I've been pretty satisfied with this season. And an episode like this just proves why Arrow is still awesome. So yeah, we get Prometheus back, and not just in one scene. I was worried it was only going to be that one scene, and that was it. He was going to disappear for the rest of the episode. But he even had a Felicity come down and say, "Hey, we're going to have to take a break for a while." I actually did think that was the real Felicity too, myself, and I'm like, "Oh crap." Even I thought for Felicity, really, like, you're breaking up with him because he snapped on his side? I mean, yeah, I agree. It was like out of line for Oliver, but still, is that breaking up worthy? And Quentin kind of brought that up later in the episode as well, when he was like trying to find out what was wrong with Oliver. And you can see as the episode continues, he's getting more and more like the vertigo is really taking a hold of him and screwing with his mind. But by the end of the episode, he finally, well, thanks to Felicity, he finally realizes, you know what, the vertigo made me realize I should go back to basics. So it looks like that's what we might be getting by the end of the season. We might be getting a solo Oliver again, even though we have heard that it was just announced this week that Colton Haynes will be returning next season. Which I'm really happy about, because I don't think we got enough arsenal with Green Arrow. So if Oliver kicks out the rest of the group, even though I don't mind Mr. Terrific, Wild Dog, and the new Black Canary, I would prefer Arsenal over those 3 any day of the week. I'll agree with any fan on that part. There is one part of this episode that did kind of annoy me, though, when Felicity was on the phone with Lance, and, you know, I guess William overheard that his father has a drug problem, and Felicity was like, I have to go find Oliver, whatever, and William hands him the shoes. I thought it was funny, that bit where he hands her the shoes. I didn't actually think she was going to run all the way to the police station, though. And I thought, really, you ran from home all the way to the police station just like that? That had me roll my eyes a bit, because I'm like, what is she, the Flash now? How fast did she run? Or how close is the police station to her place, their house? I don't know. I thought that was a little silly. But other than that, you know, this episode was almost perfect. I'll say that. And the little, obviously, tease in for the rest of the season that Diaz wants to break down Oliver in all areas, I think it's great. I can't wait. I think this episode was fantastic. It's not the best episode of all time, but guess what? It's definitely in the conversation. I would probably... I could see it sneaking into my top 10 episodes of Arrow of all time. I'm not 100% sure if it would make my top 10, but it's definitely a worthy episode to discuss about and think about. I would have to write like a list of all the Arrow episodes that I really, really love. But this one would be in the conversation. So With that being said, guys, tell me your thoughts on tonight's episode of Arrow. Did you really like it like I did? Are there anything that I left out that I should have brought up? I'm pretty sure I'm missing something. I really like those little flashback. Well, they weren't actually flashbacks, but they were like him hallucinating certain moments of his life, specifically the moments with Laurel. Like he had that hallucination of Laurel before he crashed on the island, because Sarah even got a little name drop, and they had Laurel in the hospital when she died. So it shows how important Laurel is to Oliver's life. Yeah, so I think that's all I gotta say. I think now I got everything. So I hope you guys like this video. Subscribe to my channel, especially if you're a huge fan of Arrow or the Arrowverse in general, because I love all the Arrowverse shows. I love a lot of superhero shows, but the DC TV ones are the ones that I usually talk about the most, because I just have a fun time talking about all of them. Arrow and Flash have regular reviews, and I do my DC TV weekly recap on Saturdays, where I compare all the DC TV shows that I watch on one video, ranking them from worst or least best to best. So check that out. And I guess that's it. So until next week, Arrow, it's almost done. This was episode 18. I think we have like 5 more episodes left. It's going to be great. So until next time, take care.